Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing on? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Once again, live on Twitch. It's Saturday night. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Once again, live on Twitch. This is Bose 831 Gaming with a continuation of my Twitch live stream series. We're playing Farming Simulator 22 Premium Edition, and this is the second episode of my Twitch live stream series. We're playing on the Alma, Missouri map in Farming Simulator 22. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, night, or whatever it is in your neck of the woods or in your part of the world. And without much further ado, let's just get right into it. Welcome to Alma, episode 2. We're picking up pretty much right where we left off last week, other than as I indicated at the end of the last episode, we are trying to get our budget up, so we're grinding out contracts, if you will. I just completed a baling contract, but since I saved the game and have come back in, it looks like we've picked up another baling contract has appeared on the list of contracts since we left the game and came back in, along with a few fertilizing and a new spraying contract and so on and so forth. So we got to work our budget up so we can get money to purchase animals and do other things on the farm. I think I'm going to work this series pretty much like we have in the past. First of all, let's go ahead and hop over to the farmhouse and go ahead and get some rest. Move on to the next day because we don't. It's really hard to operate when it's dark like this and at night. So let's get over to the farmhouse. Go ahead and rest and move on to the next day so we can do everything in daylight, not under the cover of night. So we'll sleep for 8 hours, come back in the morning, and then we'll take a fresh look at the contracts to see what the list entails in the morning, and let's see what we lose and pick up. Now we have 2 baling contracts, and those are the most lucrative, aside from we got a $46,000 harvesting contract on field 34, and that is the biggest one, it looks like. The fastest thing we can work right at the moment, though, because the baling contract is going to take the longest, we'll go with the spraying contract, and we'll utilize equipment with the contract. You can make more money by utilizing your own equipment. Let me double check one thing though before I do it, because I forget what equipment I own here. Let's see, what do we have? Do we have sprayers? Do we have a sprayer? We have a seeder planter. We don't own a sprayer. So yeah, we'll use, for the spraying contract, we'll use the equipment provided by the contractor. So we'll borrow items. We'll just need to pick up some herbicide from the shop. Now, why is there a header at the shop? I do not know. Anyway, go back to used items, owned items. Why do I have a windrower at the shop? Did I I guess I must have purchased that as a replacement for the default equipment that we have, because I know that's what was the deal with the planter. But we've used equipment provided by the contract provider for this spraying contract, so we'll go ahead and grab that now. and we'll need to purchase some herbicide. So what we'll do there is we'll go to the shop and we'll just actually lease a pallet of, not sure what was the contract, spraying, make sure, let me, oops, wrong screen, to this contract screen here real quick, get herbicide. So we need to go to the shop and we'll lease a pallet of herbicide, buy a pallet of herbicide, I should say. Let's see, go ahead and fill up. And that's 2,000, one pallet is 2,000 liters. The contract is for field 24. Let's take a look at field 24, because what I don't necessarily want to do is run out of supplies before we finish the spraying contracts, where I have to, and where it puts me in a situation where I have to make multiple trips back and forth to the shop. And I can see now 24 is one of the largest fields on the map, so we're going to go ahead and purchase another pallet of herbicide and fill this thing all the way up. And hopefully we won't have to make multiple trips back and forth to the shop to fulfill the obligations of this contract. Alright, so we're coming out of the cut and heading to this field. Field 24 is our target. And again, since we got a little bit of a trick here, I'm going to go ahead and use the AI driver to get us to our target location. It's just right up the road, so I'll go ahead and fire him up and see. It's a straight shot. You should be able to make that one pretty easy. Nothing complicated there. And I don't know if I don't see any traffic. It does still have traffic turned off or not. Probably still have it turned off. Let's take a peek at that while he's making his trek to the job site. Yeah, I turned it off. I'll turn it back on now. Oh, if I run into any issues, I'll turn it back off again. Because the AI does not play well with itself at times. Alright, so we've reached our destination. We can go ahead and fire this thing up and get to spraying. Since this is an irregularly shaped field, I'm gonna have some challenges covering everything until we get enough of it knocked out till we have enough of the field done where it will not cause confusion for our AI. So I'm gonna have to do most of this manually, starting out at least. What I'll start out trying to do is we're gonna paint around the edges of the field, and hopefully that will eliminate some of the harder or more difficult aspects of the contract. Okay, and I don't know why my little heads up display is not showing how much I've done. That would be very helpful. So I'm kind of doing this blind right now. That's great. So right now I have no visual indication on what parts of the field I've completed and what parts still need to be done. That's very helpful. That's all right. We can kind of see from the parts of the field that are a little bit darker, but it's still that's still not enough for me to tell what I've done and what I haven't done here. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that, because that's a problem. If there's nothing that can clearly show me, or I can visually see what I have complete, what I've sprayed and what I haven't sprayed, then I'm at a loss with how to resolve this contract here. I'm going to try to do my best here to try to cover it blind, but I am literally working blind right here at the moment with this contract. That's a game issue right there, and that's a big one. Hopefully little stuff like this for the next version of Farming Simulator, they'll tweak little stuff like that too, because this is something that shouldn't be an issue with gameplay. Where contracts, you need to have visual indications of things that clearly show what your progress is or isn't when you're doing certain things in the field. And if you can't really visually see here, I can kind of guesstimate based on what I can visually see as far as weeds disappearing in the field, but that's still very difficult to see because you're looking at green on green. This is one I'm going to have to try my best to try to eyeball here. Maybe when the sun comes out a little bit brighter, I'll be able to see a little bit better, but this is a little bit annoying. I mean, you can kind of visually see the weeds on the field, and the field is a little bit darker in areas that I sprayed, but that's very hard to see still. Should have a better indication of where I'm at than that, and what needs to be done than that. But it is what it is for right now. This field is ginormous, so I don't know how long it's going to take me to knock this out. Hopefully this will be quick. Usually this spraying contracts are a lot faster because the sprayers are your faster pieces of equipment. And for this particular process here, I'm not using a modded piece of equipment or a cheaty piece of equipment. I'm using base game equipment, so I'm working with realistic speeds as far as the equipment is concerned, at least for this contract. I may not always do that. Definitely that baling contract that came up, we're gonna use some modded equipment on that. It cost me a little bit more, but I'll be more efficient and more quick with the equipment that I lease to knock out those baling contracts. And I'll show you that in a minute, because I'm going to pick up both of those and we're going to knock those out for sure, or for show, as they say in the South. But hopefully we can get this spraying deal done quick. I just saw a notification pop up there with 10% complete. I can't tell either way that much. So I take their word for it. But we're still going around all the edges and just gonna try first. Like I said, we're first gonna try to attack the field that way, given its size and irregular shape, and then we'll work our way in back to the center of the field, and hopefully that will be give us a more efficient shape from which to work. And possibly I could even, once I've got it cut down to a more realistic shape, I could even hire a worker to finish it off, and the worker can see what I can't see. Go ahead and finish the contract. But my fear there, as well, as if I turn the worker on and he cuts the field into pieces, and I can't see all the pieces he's done versus the pieces he hasn't done, that might put me in a worse position than if I finish this whole thing off manually. So we'll assess that as we can progress here. Again, this is a very large field, so again, I'm still at this point just going around all of the edges first, and it's still taking a few minutes here just to get around the edges, given the size of the field itself and its irregular shape. But this is a more realistic scenario, because in real life these fields aren't perfectly square, or in a nice, neat little shape where you can work in it. You're liable to get anything, all kind of odd configurations and shapes or anything in between. And that this field is definitely representative of something you would run into in real life. And as I understand it, this map is based on satellite images from the actual city of Alma, Missouri, and is a fairly accurate representation of fields and the town that it represents from that area of Alma, Missouri. So this is more or less a real life base map, at least as close as they can get it. And here momentarily, because I got to give the map maker their proper props and consideration. And I don't have their name right off the top of my head at the moment, but I'll look that up here when I get a moment and make sure I call them out and give them their kudos for this beautiful map. I'm really liking this map. And I know there's a lot of YouTubers, Twitch gamers out there that have done series on this map. It's a very popular map, and I certainly understand why. And we're hopefully going to get into a lot of different things on this map. I'm still kind of bouncing around in my head whether I want to keep the horses on the map and do the horses, because those can be a time sink, and just it's a different aspect of gameplay. I want to do a lot of farming stuff too, and we do the horses. That takes a certain amount of time every day just to ride the horses, and what you have, in order to get the best out of the horses, you have to do that consistently every day. And I don't want to turn. I've done a previous series with the main farm in the base game on Elm Creek with where I had played with the horses, and it was cool, but it just kind of took away a little bit from what I wanted to showcase on my series, because you spend a lot of the series just riding horses. It offered some different content, of course, but still you had repetitive scenes with me having to ride the horses every day. You have to do horse riding every day if you have horses on the map in order to max out their health score and some other elements with horses. Well, just in general, the element is keeping their health scores up, which keeps their value from going down. You have to ride the horses every day. And in a way, one thing they did do with 22 that they didn't do with 19 now is that's kind of improvement with 22 over 19 and the management of horses was with 22 now, you have to ride the horses a set amount of time per each horse. Once you do that, you met the requirement, and it's less time than it was in 19, but it's still a certain amount of time every day per horse. So if I do decide to do horses, we won't do many of them, because again, you have to ride the horse each day for that certain period of time, and that's per horse. So for example, if it's 5 real life minutes per horse, and I have 5 horses, that'll be 25 minutes of horse riding before I can get into anything else. So we're not going to have too many horses if we got to do it that way. Still kind of bouncing around. Maybe we'll get a couple of horses just so you can see how the gameplay element works, for the sake of having that on the series. But we won't get a bunch of horses because of the time involved with that process. But we will definitely do the other animals. I've done some research on the map off camera and confirmed that all animals are built into the map, with the exception of chickens. So if I do decide to do chickens and eggs, we'll have to purchase some land and designate an area to place down a chicken coop and do chickens. But the other animals are on the map, and for some animals that are on the map, I gotta purchase certain areas of land. For instance, if I want chickens, I'm going to have to, pigs, I'm going to have to purchase land and another farm to have access to the pigs. There are 2 cow farms on the map. You start out with your default farm, with the ownership of one of the cow barns, but there's a second one I can purchase. That's definitely, we'll want to get that one down the line, as I showed on the first episode of the series, but we'll hit that in just a moment as well, just to refresh everyone's memory. We have right now, we own on our current property, as far as animals properties are concerned, we have the access to cows, sheep, and the horses. But until I get some more money on the hand, I can't afford to purchase the animals and get them fed and get started with the animal husbandry at the moment. So that's why we're making right now, just grinding out contracts, trying to make a little money to get our farm started, because we're doing this series basically as a start from scratch series, and just coming into town and working all available farming contracts. You start off the series with we do own property, we just don't have enough money and resources starting out to work our property to its fullest extent yet, at least as far as animals are concerned. We'll take a look at our own fields here, which I forgot to do coming in, to see what activities are available to us on the fields that I already own. I also focus on just getting into it and working the contracts, and I didn't even think to look at the fields that we do own. So I need to do that. I'll probably have to do it, because you know, when you are playing with precision farming, when you come in with precision farming by default, the fields that you own have stones on them. So I'm probably going to have to reset those fields by plowing those fields through, and resetting the fields by plowing them and putting my own crops into those fields. Well, I would also take a look at that once we finish this contract, and make a quick assessment on where we're at and what we need to do next. As you see, this field is seriously crazy huge. And well, okay, according to the messaging there, we're up to 30% complete. So slowly but surely we're knocking it out. Like I say, typically spraying contracts are pretty much easy money, or at least as far as your return on investment is concerned, because all you typically with spraying contracts, all you're worried about is the cost of leasing the spraying equipment, and of course the purchase of the spray itself. But those are usually much lower than your leasing costs you may have for equipment concerning or involving other types of contracts. Yeah. And then also typically your time that it takes to complete the contract, or your time investment, is usually much less for spraying contracts. But again, that's typically but not always the case. As you can see here, this one in particular is not going to be one of the quick pump and dump ones. Alright. But even with all that being said, and how ridiculously large this field is, and the amount of area that we have had to cover, we're actually making, even though it might not visually appear like it at the moment, we are making very quick progress on a field of this size. Excuse me. Sorry about my voice a little bit there, but I was doing pretty good today, but seemed to be coming down with a little bit of something here this evening that is slightly affecting my voice. Taking some self-medicated, of course, and taking some lozenges, but still the voice is a little shaky right now. So pardon me for that. I'm still gonna work our way through the live tonight, and I'll talk as much as I can, and just bear with me. And my voice kind of fluctuates around a little bit. That is the reason why, and we'll definitely work it out. So, and again, you can kind of see, I can visually see the weeds on the field to a certain degree, but they are not easy to see at all. But you can kind of see the little darker green areas of where the weeds appear on the field, and that's pretty much all I have to go by right now. You can't really see the sprayed areas of the field. You can kind of tell where the field is a little bit darker in areas I previously sprayed, and you can kind of see the dead weeds, but it's still very hard to clearly see these things. Because I'm on console, and even though I'm on the next gen console, the game doesn't render some of the stuff that's visually happening on the field until you get close enough to it. Up, and we just dropped all our spray, so we are out. So I'm gonna have to make the trek back to the shop here and resupply. Let's see if I go to the let's turn the grass filter on too, because by default the game hides the grass filter. Alright, so you can see here from the soil composition where we're at as far as the spraying progress on this contract here. The brown is areas sprayed, the green is areas that I need to finish spraying. Right now we are out of supplies, so we got to go back shop, fill up our sprayer, and come back out here and wrap this contract up. Make sure I'm heading in the right direction first. Where's the road at? The building's over here. I was close. Like, go to the side where the traffic is at, in the buildings. Excuse me. I was hoping we could knock this one out without having to make multiple trips to the shop, but that's a fantasy. This field is huge. So we'll run back to the shop, resupply, and make our way back out to the field and finish this first contract up. Go ahead and turn my beacons on. I'm gonna make sure folks know that we're our service vehicle. Let's see, and where is that? Where the shop is at? What side is the shop on? So the gray building, I thought it was the post office looking building. Here we go. And we already had some leftover herbicide from our last refill. We'll go ahead and finish that up, and then once we exhaust that supply, we'll purchase some more. We need at least 2 more, I'm sure. 1, 2, and keep the flow going. And hopefully this will be the last refill we need to make. I don't know. The field is pretty significant in size, and given the size of the field, you can now have a better understanding of why that contract is paying what it's paying. Alright, coming back out. Hopefully I'm pointing myself in the right direction here. And of course I am not. Going this way. And this is just the first of many contracts I intend to work through, starting out on the series. And as I've done before on some of my other series, the first goal is to get our budget up. So I usually like to work it to where we make our first $1 million in our operating budget. And then once we hit the $1 million, then we'll start spending money or branching out and making some purchases or what have you as far as other operations. Although I have to work this one a little bit differently because the thing that's different from this with this series that was different from our previous series on Silver Run Forest is this is more of a farming map than a logging map. So I do have, since I own more property that has crops that I could plant, farms that I could, fields that I could harvest right away, I will start working those immediately. And again, we'll take a look at those in just a few minutes. All right. just right now trying to think about what is my best way to attack what I have left here. Alright, since weeds basically cover the entirety of the field, I don't have to worry about a precision farming aspect of spraying and making sure that you have a spot spraying turned on, because that only really affects fields that you own. When you're doing contracts, the fields kind of work where to the extent where your the entire field is covered with weeds, so you don't have to worry about spot spraying. It looks like we're just gonna go at it straight up. There's no way I could kind of paint this field or cover this field where I have a nice neat shape that I could turn a worker loose on. I gotta, unfortunately, because of the way this field's shaped, we're gonna have to do all of this manually. Looks like, I don't know. I don't really see a scenario where I can chop this field up into nice, neat, digestible squares that an AI worker could possibly work. I mean, there are some spurts, like I could probably, see if I turn them loose here, he'll go in a straight line here because there is a little bit of area where he can go straight, but once he reaches the end here and has to turn around and come back up, and he won't have a box from which to work, so I don't know if he'll be able to resolve which direction he wants to go next. But we'll just turning them on. I'm just gonna have to watch them and micromanage them because of the way this field's shaped. I can't turn them loose completely. But sometimes the AI workers will surprise you here, and that's one of the whole inconsistencies with the whole thing. Sometimes you could turn the AI worker on and turn them loose, and they'll figure stuff out. But other times it's just like they can't even. Well, that's the issue right there already. He just missed that chunk right there, so I gotta already come back and clean up that. And that's the thing with the AIs, man. They're going to operate in a straight line, so they will. The advantage of them is if you want to make sure that something is done in a perfectly straight line, they will give you that. But if it's anything outside the scope of a straight line, look out. You don't know what to expect. All right, I gotta turn them loose here. Let's see what we get. Going back this way now. This piece appears to be straight going this way, but when he has to come back down, he may be confused when he has to turn and come back the other direction. We'll see what he does, just for the sake of argument here. I'm gonna have to watch him. Let's watch together and see what he does, what decision he decides to make when he reaches the end of this path and decides to turn around and come back the opposite direction, if he can figure out what to do next. Because once he sprays this section, he'll still have another section to his right to cover, but it'll be less of a square section. So let's see what he does. All right. And again, there's already a fail point for me. He stopped before he finished this path here. You had crop here that you need that is sprayable. And when you're working contracts, missing spots of the field affect your ability to complete the contract. So that's a no-go. Alright. So definitely I gotta pick it up and manually help to manage it. Now, I'm going back down. This is a straight line, so I can turn it back on and you should be able to navigate that straight line at least till we get to the end of this path. And as you can see, this is why I can't turn the worker loose completely. And we'll still have those two sections here. Once I get into this major piece here, we should have most of this contract resolved, and we may be able to resolve the contract once we knock all of this area out, and may not even have to touch this area over here, because one of the things about the contract spraying, especially with spraying contracts, is the game will give you credit for 100% completion without completing every piece of the field for some reason, but I appreciate it. But if you get as you get close to spraying the entirety of the field, the game will go ahead and give you some what I like to call bonus credit towards completion, so that you don't have to spray each and every inch of the field. And same thing with if this was a fertilizing contract or we'll just say fertilizing, because with you don't have lime contracts as part of the contract. You're either going to have a herbicide or a fertilizer. And the contracts are dynamic depending on what's going on with the properties and the time of day and the seasons. These things will change. My windows are really tight because we're playing. We set up this series to be on a 3x time scale with 2-day months. So my harvest season is going to be quick and relative to those time frames. Remember, basically with 2-day months, each day is relatively speaking, the 1st through the 15th of the month, with the second day being the 16th through the 30th of the month. So your windows from which to operate are going to be very tight. Okay. Now I am kind of at a loss with what he's doing here now. Let's see. He's turning this way and kind of spinning it up that way and coming back this way. Because if the workers know one thing, they know how to go straight, and that's pretty much it. So he's figured out a way to go straight. So let's see if he did get that going pretty well. Just a lot of turning to get to a point where he should have only had to make one simple turn to accomplish the same goal. Okay. Alright, so he made that navigation pretty well. Alright. So he surprised me on that one. Let's see if he can keep this thing going and not chop it up into a lot of missed sections of the field. There's a little green spot over there where we missed a tiny little section, but it's enough that it still shows on the heads up display. Alright, and he's still going straight. He's about to chop this up, isn't he? Let's see. Because all they know is straight. Yep. So he's about to split this all up. But again, the workers know how to go in a straight line, and that's about where it ends. So I'll let him, we may leave him to his devices because he should be able to go straight up and down and finish all of this. He probably won't go cover this to the left, so I may have to manually come back and handle what he leaves here to the left in order to complete this contract if the game doesn't give me credit for finishing it before we get to those pieces. But before I divert my attention away from here, I want to make sure I see what he does when he gets to the top here and has to turn around and come back the other way. What he does. Alright, so he's making the attempt to turn around right now. Alright. And of course he did turn around, but of course at the top of the turn he missed a lot of weeds. So I'm going to have to come back and clean up all of that he missed in turning around before he got the spraying started again. And that's the other little annoying aspect sometimes with using these workers. So yeah, there's that. But he did all right. He did all right. For the AI to even do that is still pretty significant, but it could be so much better. Okay, so I can possibly step away here and we can work on something else while he's doing that. Alright, we had a few other fertilizing ones pop up here, so let's see what else we got here. What's the biggest one? The $6,264 one. We go ahead and borrow those items. And then the next up is $4,368. And I know these aren't the biggest harvesting one we got here for $50,000 and the $39,000 and so on and so forth. But again, the biggest return on investments are going to be your fertilizing deals. So I'm going to always go for them first. Stop over to the shop real quick while we're waiting on that to work itself out. And we'll go ahead and buy some pallets, big bag pallets of solid fertilizer. We're going to get, in fact, we'll buy a whole cachet of that because we know we're going to be running through that. So we'll go ahead and load that up. Fill the fertilizer, spreader up. And one thing about the game does reimburse you for unused fertilizer when you return um, the spreader to the shop. I still like to make sure, I'm probably overcompensating here, but I just want to make sure that we don't run out. But these lesser or smaller contracts, excuse me, should be good to go. So let's take this one to 28 first. Where's 28 at? My eyes are kind of messing with me here, so I can't. Okay, 28 is over here. So, and I, so I gotta go. I'm trying to see where do I have to go to get to 28. Looks like I have to come down this road here. So, 70%, so we're moving right along. So I let the AI worker do his thing. I'm not gonna mess with him anymore, and hopefully, I just pick up the pieces from what the AI worker misses, but I let him go ahead and work that out as best that he can, and then I'll come back and clean up what he doesn't. And we're headed out to 28. I'm going to make the manual drive here. We're not going to use AI to get to that field. I want to do this quickly. So that's our next stop. It's field 28. Looks like in order to actually get to the field, I'm going to have to drive by our main farm. Maybe in one of the things that we may hopefully get to in the next version of Farming Simulator is running some of these 4X maps on console. Because right now, the reason why some of the limitations with Farming Simulator are in place for consoles is because the console companies have to maintain that the current batch of games have to have backwards compatibility with previous versions of the console platform. That would be PS4 and Xbox One. And hopefully once the next version of Farming Simulator is released, it will just be only work with PC and next gen consoles, and so some of those backwards compatibility limitations will be relaxed, so we can actually see a console version of the game that has more in common with its PC version. Although one thing that we will never have on consoles, of course, because of rules concerning scripts, we still won't ever see mods in the console space that allow for scripts, because scripts can be used to hack consoles. So I don't think we'll see Sony or Microsoft ever allow that to happen. Alright, and it looks like I did miss my turn on how do we access or get to field 28. Looks like we're gonna have to cut through the woods a little bit here. I don't know where missed the access point from 28. Let's see if I can go back this way and see if we can find where that's supposed to be. Usually you don't drive across one field to get to another field, and we definitely got trees here blocking access between these two. I'm going to drive through the woods to get to one field. There's no road between those two, so I'm trying to see where is the road access to 28. Allegedly supposed to be. I'm not sure on that one. When you're looking at the mini map, this road that's on the other side is not actually a road, that's the railroad tracks. So you're not going to take the railroad tracks to get to 28. And this field 29 is below 28. So that's your access point here. So I guess you are having to drive across one field to get to the other. That's nice. Yes, in this deal, crop destruction be damned, huh? Yeah, you got a road between the two, but you don't have a road to get you out here without having to touch the field in front. Yeah. All right, but not the case. We are here. I'm gonna go ahead and spray this one real quick, and I'm gonna do this manually because it's the fastest way for me to knock this one out. This is one of those small quick ones like I was talking about, and we'll go ahead and run it. And hopefully I bought enough fertilizer along where we won't run out of supplies before we finish doing the entire field. But we should be in good shape. Alright. This field is also irregularly shaped, but still more of a straight line, so let's see, we'll go ahead and turn the worker loose on this one, see how he does on that. But he's going to have a tricky situation here when he gets to the top as far as turning around. Let's see if he figures out what to do once we get here. No, he's stopped short. But he came up a little bit more. All right. Come back. And now he's going to try to turn it around. It's not too bad. All right, and my other worker has ran out of resources. Let's see where we're at on that one. And let's see what the contract looks like, because he's not quite done. No, spring 95. Gotta love it. So gotta go back to the shop. Pick up a little more spray. Just one more pallet of spray. Won't do two that time. We got leftover product at the shop, and we'll purchase one more, and hopefully that should be enough to complete the contract. We're at sitting at 95%. So I think it should. We've already went through what, 4 of these already for just this one field. Was it? Might have been 6. I have to go back and check the tape. Alright, so headed back to the shop, hopefully for the last time, to get some more herbicide. Complete this first contract. Hopefully we can go ahead and start getting paid. This is the early grind in this series. We got some nice significant, nice size fields on this map, so we won't be grinding for long. Alright, 38%, 5% to finish. I'm gonna roll the dice. I think that should be enough to finish the contract. Alright, head back out to did I make the wrong turn? Yeah, once you see the little red truck went the wrong direction. I thought I saw it. So I should always, going this direction, should need to be going towards the railroad tracks. I thought that's where I was headed, but that was again wrong direction. We're headed in the right direction now. Passing right by my intended target. So let's go ahead and touch up 24. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and spray that spot, big spot up there, up top that I missed, and we'll pick up these other little pieces. These bigger sections are going to get us closer to full completion, and messing around with those other little patches. Spread out. All right, let's go. All right. And if I calculated correctly, we should be able to knock these small sections out, but hit our 100% completion before we have to cover everything that has been missed up to this point. All right, that's fine. Turn around. Turn it back on. Excuse me. All right, there's those two. Now we're gonna do a little cheat. Fold it up. Fold it up. Kind of cut this little piece here. A little bit of a shortcut of sorts. And to this other section of the field, and then unfold it again. Now we'll work on chopping up those pieces that were missed previously. And like I said, this is what I was trying to avoid earlier, because you have this in conjunction with having difficulty seeing on this field what areas have been done versus what haven't been done. It's just trying to avoid this as much as possible, but there's no way around it, especially when you use the AI work. It is what it is. It's all part of the process, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, see, turn it around. Shoot. Section somewhere. Still need to touch it. See it now. And we're down to 17%. And we're still going to miss a corner. So we're going to have to turn around and make at least one more pass before we cover everything that's still left here. Down to 14%. So it's getting a little dicey now. We're making that turn. 13%. There's a little swath right here. All right. Taking a look at that heads up. Do not like it. You have little random pieces like that that you got to try to resolve before you can finish the field. And workers leave all sorts of stuff like that. I'm just hoping that this contract will give me completed status before I run out of Riverside. My calculations are not incorrect, and I rolled the dice appropriately. Yeah, definitely cutting it close as we roll down to 8%. 7%, and we still got some hardball sections here to spray before we resolve everything that's still incomplete on this map. See one of those pieces right in front of me. So we're gonna attack that one first. Kind of come in at an angle and try to maximize coverage. Where's tiny little piece right here? There's that one. And I want to get a piece here that covers a big chunk, because that's going to be my best chance at getting that contract complete. All right. There we go. Down to 5. 4. So we're down to that final countdown. 3. So be my 2 and my 1. And we're going to hit 0 before we finish this swath. So we about to hit realization real quick. We're down to see it now as we count down 33 units of spray. 20. And we're at 0%, so we're down to the final pieces. Here's the countdown: 10, 9, 8, 2, 1, 0. That is this contract complete. I didn't see it pop. It is complete. So we'll go ahead and collect that 24 $1,000. Is it $1,360? So we're up to $208,021 now. And that's how we're. Oh, right, my other guy got stuck in the trees, huh? He got confused. Decided to run up in the tree into the trees. Let's see what he got left over here. Oh, that's why, because he couldn't resolve that. So go ahead and finish painting the edges around the field. At least he tried to get the edges. Bless his heart. He gave it a shot. Though I gotta give the AI that. But again, they work in a straight line. They can't work in irregular shapes. They can't work in a circle, or they can't work in a half circle. They can't resolve anything. It's not come in the shape of a straight path between different points on the map. Go ahead and knock this out. We just got the green light. 28's finished. So we'll go ahead and collect that. Next up is 26. So let's come out back to the shop. Grab our little Fent. Vario 724. They didn't give us a counterweight for this one, but we won't need it. We'll go ahead and fill up available fertilizer. And probably, again, be overkill to take us 4,000 liters right there. And this field is smaller than the one we just completed, and just to be safe, we'll take 3,000 liters. 2,000. Shop. And I'm sure it's more than likely overkill again. But again, I'd rather overcompensate than undercompensate. Let's see where 26 is located at on the map. And whenever you have a field that's a contract field, the number where you accept the contract, and it's a field that you have assigned, the number blinks. There it is right there. And those are the fields that have active contracts. But it's not always easy to see, so we just need to come right up this side road right here. And again, I'm not going to use the AI. This time I'm going to drive up there manually because we're sitting right up the road here. And it should be this road right beside the contract. The railroad track here. And that's 26 right in front of us. We'll go ahead and hit this one manually as well. And we can actually see what our progress is on this, and with this one on the heads-up display. And all the field that we covered will be the dark blue color on our heads-up display to your left, or your mini-map, I should say. Well, this one should be pretty quick. Guys, I'm really excited about the series and about some of the things we're going to be able to do with the series, with this map, with the production change. This map has a few nice, pretty neat custom production chains, products. We covered a few of those things in our opening episode in this series, but we're gonna do all of that and then some, and it's gonna be great. Um, Again, my previous two series on Twitch, one was a farming series, one was a forestry series, and I've been doing the forestry map for a long time, but I'm super excited now to get back to doing a farming map. I do my crops and everything, because that's really cool too. I actually enjoy doing the farming slash animal husbandry side of the game more than anything else. But the forestry stuff is cool. That's why it was quite a blast to actually do the Silver Run for a series and get a roller coaster going and build a few boats. That was definitely really cool that those additions that they added to the game for that map. Those new productions. I definitely enjoyed doing that. But now I'm more excited now to get back to regular old farming. And farming, regular old farming on an American style map. There are definitely some differences between farming in America versus farming in Europe. And it's cool to be on a map that's actually farming, that's modeled after farming in America or the US versus a map, a European map masquerading as an American map. That little spot right there, but it should not be necessary in order for us to get credited for completion of this contract here. I'm surprised the contract complete message hadn't popped already. Here it is when it's finished. And since I'm already almost here visually, I'll go ahead and finish that up. Even though it doesn't necessarily matter. When the game tells you it's done, it's done. We'll go ahead and do that just because we can. And let's go ahead and get that money. That's $7,153 plus another $4,368. So put it all together, $7,432. That's what we get for that one. All right, and let's go back to our contracts and see what we have left on the slate. We still got a couple of smaller fertilizing ones, but just to switch it up, let's go ahead and do a harvesting one, just to change up the game a little bit and get the grand dealio going there. We're gonna borrow the equipment that they're offering to us. We may have, they gave us a draper header for this instead of this setup here. Go ahead and drop this. never used this trailer setup before, so I'm gonna have to get by ear. Hopefully I'm coming in and loading from the right side. Find out real quick. Let's drop it. Alright. Looks okay. And our next stop is, this is on, okay, where do we go? We gotta go to field 34. Where's that at? Zooming out, coming back, growth. Alright, so that's the big boy down here at the bottom. Let's go do some harvesting. And this is going to be a heck to turn around, so I want to make sure we go in the right direction this time, because it's a lot harder to make these turns with a harvester. Alright, next stop, field 34. Excuse me. This is live, folks. 34 is the field right in front of me. And thankfully, there's enough area here where I can kind of pull over to the side, grab my header without too much concern about being in a tight space in order to get the header set up and on connected to the harvester. And what crop is this? This is sorghum. So, let's see. And I'm gonna just go ahead and turn the AI worker on for this one and see what he does. So I should be able to see what it is and what he misses and all of that good stuff. And I'm going and do that, do his thing there. And while he's doing that, and go ahead and grab my truck and trailer here and get that into position. Okay. The first issue is, looks like these two pieces of equipment don't want to play nice together. I'm confused. Is that because the ground is uneven? This is an uneven surface, or is that something to do with the trailer that the contract issued to us? Because I can't. Is it because the game spawned the trailer on? I don't get this one, guys. Why is the trailer tipping over like that? Alright, let's do this. And hopefully that'll help us all out. Where you at? See if we reset it, it will figure itself out. Yeah, that looks better already. I don't know what that was right there. Looked like it's clipping into the ground or something weird. Alright, so now, theoretically, we shall make that drive out to the field. Have the trailer in position for picking up what we harvest. Shall be all good. Alright, harvesters, excuse me. Yeah, this way, so let me back the truck out of the way so we won't be in the path of this harvester as it tries to turn itself around. Yeah. Let's take a look at it. See how we're doing here. Okay, that's rather interesting. He turned around well before he made his way all the way down that edge of the field. So I don't know what's up with that. Let's go figure out here because he looks like he needs some help early. So we're gonna have to pick this up manually. He's already off to an extremely inefficient start here. So we're gonna pick up at least a piece of this manually before we turn the worker back on. So I don't know what he was looking at, but I told him he should turn around at this part of the field. Now here's one of those situations, and we may do that. I don't think we'll do it now. Well, maybe we will, because that just be something to showcase. I should have thought about that before we picked up the lease equipment. But on console, we do have the ability to do fast farming. We have to use certain modded equipment in order to do so. There are modded headers that we have available in the mod hub to allow us to do just that very thing. I didn't want to start out there, but in order for us to quickly work through some contracts, we may grab a modded header just to speed the whole process up. Maybe I'll do that off camera and we'll come back in and on the next episode. And then I already have harvested all of the available quickly harvested all the available harvesting contracts. Come back in, all that'll be cleaned up, and we can just pick up from here and be ready to go. Come back in on the next episode. I think I'll do it that way. Fields on this map, it won't take us long to get to $100,000. I mean, $1 million plus if we go ahead and move that money around and start working on some other activities on this map. There's a variety of different size fields on this map. A lot of huge fields and a lot of small fields, so we'll be able to quickly make some money. stuff to get done on this map in this series. You have to think about fast farming, yes. And for those of you who are not familiar with that experience, it'd be cool for you guys to see that too. This is doing it realistic at the normal speed. And then what I can do is we'll run it back. What we do, well, I'll show it off before. I think I'll show it off before we jump out tonight. Excuse me. And there it goes. Like that. Just gotta wait. Weather, slightly under the weather, but not completely under the weather during the holidays. Fighting a little bit of a cold. All right, there it is. We are full. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Let's see how much time we got left. 37. We got time. We're gonna pipe out. I'm gonna bring the trailer in. We're gonna grab the load, but then we're gonna reset the header and the header trailers at the shop, and well, actually we'll reset everything to the shop. And I'm gonna grab a fast farming header and showcase how this whole thing works with the fast farming on console. And we're going to run to obviously make a run to our delivery location to unload our crops and get paid for that. First, let's unload. And even though we have crop destruction turned on, it does not affect when we're working contracts. Crop destruction only impacts crops that we actually own. So I only need to be mindful of crop destruction when I'm harvesting my own crops. All right. So we got that knocked out. Here's what I'm going to do, just for the sake of you guys. Let's see, and me, just seeing if it still works and if there's been any improvements in this. We're gonna send the AI worker to our delivery point. Where is our delivery point? Okay. Where is our delivery point for this contract? I do not see. Normally we'll have an indicator showing us where. All right, I don't see it. Let's go look at it. Harvesting. Take the product to the grain sale point. Which grain sale point, my brother? Ah, there it is. The exclamation point right there. All right, so now that we know where we're going, set destination. Let's see if we can get him to drive here. Okay, that's unreachable, so Let's try this again. Set destination. Let's do here, because I think you got to come in from this way anyway. And target still saying it's under. All right, let's try one more time. Set destination. All right, can you go here? Can you resolve that one? All right, looks like he's gonna try to make that one. Let's see how well he does with that. And while he's working on that, let's go to our harvester, and we're gonna reset it to the shop along with the header. Set that to the shop, and our trailer. Reset that to the shop, and then hop on over to the shop. All right, and we'll keep the same harvester. Our trailer. Does it show up under leased items? Because I want to make sure we get the same trailer. No, it does not. So it's a Dynaflex 92 55 40 foot. So we need to go to the shop and see if we can find that same header. And what we want to look for is I have the mod installed for fast farming. And we want the mod in the mod hub is called the 2 height control for headers. And that mod allows us to fast farm. I just have to find this same header. I know it was a powerful Dynaflex 9255 40 foot, right? I think it was. No, I don't know if it was Fent or what is the brand. Yeah, that's the Fent Dynaflex 9255 40 foot. So we want to grab that particular header, but make sure it's the fast farming version of it, the 2 height control for harvesters, for headers, excuse me, version of it. So the 40 foot, 9255 40 foot. So that's it right there, and we're gonna lease it. It's gonna set us back another $3 grand, and that's really the only piece of equipment that we need to do what I want to do next. It's going to be a little tricky here because of the header trailer thing, so I'm going to have to kind of come in here. I'm going to have to move a header trailer so I can get the header on the trailer. Properly, allegedly, Your Honor. I know this is a whole lot to get to a certain point, but you understand the method to the madness momentarily. Alright, so we got it on the trailer, and we go back out to our contract site. And we'll definitely finish up the contract. Where am I? To the left. I see traffic trying to turn in front of me, trying to mess me up. Fortunately, we didn't get jammed up there. Beacons on. And we're rapidly coming up towards the end of tonight's episode. And as we get close to wrapping it up, I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. And I appreciate your support. Continue to support and look forward to continuing this series as we continue to grow this channel and continue to do brighter and better things as we continue into 2024. I'm expecting a bigger and better year for 2024 for Bose 831 Gaming, for this channel. And with your continued support, we will get there. We will grow, get bigger, better, and better. Because that's what we do here on this channel. And like I always say, if you're not having fun doing what you do, what are you doing? This is Bose 831 Gaming. I'm Bose 831 Gaming on most of your social media, major social media platforms: Twitter, Twitch, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you love. By the way, let me know. Let me know. The only way I can get bigger, better, and better is your feedback. Also, part of this whole deal is engagement is also the name of the game, so let's continue to be engaged. Alright. As you see, the AI workers can utilize the fast farming header, and with the fast farming header, we can operate or perform farm operations, certain farming operations, in this case harvesting, at a higher rate of speed than what would be the normal operating speed, which obviously allows us to complete certain processes, in this case harvesting, at a much faster rate than we would at normal / realistic speeds. And that's what we're going to do here now. I've shown you proper, realistic way to do it if you want to play that way. On this series, we're going to do a little bit of both, so you can get to see both sides of the argument and choose the method that works best for you. And I shall leave it at that. There are players that play the game that are stickers about virtual realism, and there are those who not. I'll leave it up to decide, play the game in the best way, which that also at the end of the day, it is a game, and the purpose of the game is also to provide you with entertainment, so make sure you're entertained as well. If your hobby turns into a job versus a hobby, then it starts to lose its luster. That's just my personal digress. I did indicate we were gonna here, make sure I do. Mod makers here are credit for mods. Excuse me. Voice is really struggling right now. Really get through it. First of all, the modder for author of the Alma, Missouri map is, I'm butchering, probably gonna butcher his name because it's not, I don't have a key for the pronunciation, but it's Silobuki is the Alma, Missouri map maker. Definitely want to give him credit. And the modder for the fast farming mod, 2 height control for harvesters. What was that? Of course. That will not be the first one that pops. Excuse me. That one's been around a while. That's one of your early mods. Now I can't find it. Alright, so I may have to provide an update on that later because I don't want to spend that much time searching for it in a mod hub. Oh, here it is. Oh, I should have known this by heart. This the 2 height control for headers is by DD Mod Passion. Duh, I should know that one. All right, but anywho, let's real quickly here go ahead and unload. This sorghum for the contract, so we can at least get our first part of the harvesting contract complete. And I know we're gonna have to make a few trips here before we complete the entire contract. It. And so if we check the completion percentage now, we'll come back to contracts, 4%. That's awesome. Excellent. Having a brain malfunction because we shouldn't even have come to the shop to, the unloading location to unload until we had a full trailer. My apologies. A little rusty on the farming stuff here. Alright. But I did want to go ahead and just show you how all of that works if you're new to the game, so you got your first look at that. I will go ahead and do it the proper way from this point going forward. Crash counter +1. Totally, I guess we didn't spill it. Excuse me. Alright, so we'll go ahead and unload this. Alright. And the worker is off to the races. Should be full rather quickly at the rate he's going. And with the tool height control for harvester, it allows you to harvest at the maximum speed for the harvester, meaning as fast as the harvester can go. Like in this case, this harvester can go up to 26 miles per hour, so it's going to operate at its maximum speed. Speed up the harvesting process quite a bit. The other side of that is it also means the harvester will fill up much more quickly. So we need to unload much more often. Like we also will miscellaneous patches of field because the worker can't get the harvester to stop fast enough when it's full. That's not as much of an issue. Alright, there's a little tree there, so excuse me. This is another one of those realistic, irregularly shaped fields. So it's going to take a little bit of effort here to get this field done utilizing a worker. It's going to take us some time. We're going to have to make a number of trips. I mean, this field is, Alright, what is the size of that field? .38 acres. That's crazy. That's massive. Alright, harvest is full. Again. Alright. Alright, coming up on the last few minutes of the episodes. Tonight's episode. And again, similar to what we did between episodes tonight and the next episode of the series, I may do some contract work off camera again. Probably again touching the baling contracts that we had. We got this harvester's moving. Yeah, and I also have to come back here and touch up these little missed spots on this field. Yeah, but these baling contracts, I'll go ahead and do those. I think I'll do those off camera because those are the most time consuming. So yeah, I think we'll do that. Did the contract actually pick up fast bail for the contract? Okay, that's new. All right, all right. But I'm gonna try to work through all of them. I mean, there's only so many hours in a day and so many. Because we work in the 2-day months, I'm only going to have so much opportunity to work these harvesting, well, really all of these contracts, because the harvesting season is only yay long depending upon the crop, and we are going to lose our sorghum, potatoes, and wheat opportunities for harvesting in one more day. Also peas. We got a few more days for some other crops, but those will be out the window. Also planting canola and just canola for right now. So we got a few days, game days, where we'll have opportunity to work certain contracts, but then it will change or shift to something else. All right. Look at that, a worker actually went across that time. Oh, going over. I did not, lost track of the time there. My apologies. Alright, well this has been another episode of my Twitch live stream series, Alma, Missouri, Farming Simulator 22. This is Bose831 Gaming, and I'll catch you on the next episode, and I will catch you on the flip side. Have a good night, everyone.